little one shot. We've got some people missing, so it's just going to be me and a couple of players today. You know what? I don't know how applicable this is, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Does anyone remember what happened last time in Inspectors?
There were whales, Mr. McGucket, and disappearing buildings.
Yeah, I mean that's about it. You that's pretty much it.
Conspiracies.
That's right. There seems to be some sort of conspiracy about whales from Jupiter. But by the time you were heading back to try and figure out what was really going on, everything had been disappeared, leaving only Agent McGucket behind, who sent you off with a ham bone of good wishes. So, we're going to pick up again. So, it is the 4th of July, believe it or not. You guys are in your little station, your gas station hangout where you're headquartered. And your boss, I say boss in quotes because, I should actually move you guys to the right page real quick so you can actually see. Look at that stuff.
Yay, things!
So your quote unquote boss, Cruz Rigi, who hasn't really been doing much recently, ever since he got a bit of a mental breakdown, and ever since then, he every once in a while still reverts to being unable to say anything other than the word yeet. But he's off in the front yard, and he has the biggest, most illegal-looking Russian fireworks that you can imagine, and he is setting them off like there's no tomorrow. Wilhelm Carter is sitting in his upstairs study, looking out the window very disapprovingly, and clearly unhappy about his concentration being broken by the loud booms and the cacophonous explosions going on outside. Karen, the lab tech, she's actually already off trying to call the cops on you guys. What are you two up to?
Hey, has anyone seen Karen?
She said something about calling the cops and went that way, but you know,
Classic
not
Karen.
the first time. Yep.
Should we warn Cruz Rigi?
Do you really think it would do any good? He's probably deaf from the fireworks at this point.
In Soviet Russia, fireworks are deafened by you! Cruz Rigi shouts in your direction.
You heard Karen's calling the police, right?
In Soviet Russia, police call you! And he just laughs, guffawing ecstatically as he sets off another firework, which actually tilts over because he's putting the stands up in the grass instead of on a solid object, and shoots off, dangerously missing your roof by just a fraction of an inch before exploding in the woods behind you.
I'm looking forward to the day that we have a job in Soviet Russia.
I don't know. He's got so many enemies in Russia at this point. I doubt we're ever going.
Speaking of jobs,
Shall we retire to the office before the police show up?
I was saying I don't want to do my job. We should do anything but our job.
Let's go on a cruise to Florida.
Cruise to Florida. Count me in.
Boat.
That's going to be a long, long trip to get to Florida from New York.
Hey, it worked in the last Supernatural game I played.
No, we went to Cuba.
Oh, there we go. Let's go on a cruise to Cuba.
However, I mean, you could always get a little houseboat and head out to the Great Lakes. That's not too far out.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you want to do?
I like the Great Lakes. No, let's go to an amusement park. Let's go to Cedar Point.
I mean, just about anything's got to be better than being here while Greedy is letting those things off.
All right.
Cedar Point.
So you guys hop in. Lavinia. I'm probably still mispronouncing your name. Lavinia? I think it's Lavinia.
You could just call her Viv. I think Viv would be acceptable, nickname.
Viv? Is that what you said? I'm just gonna go with Lavinia.
Yeah.
So, you hop in Lavinia's Travato. Why don't we go ahead and do some rolls real quick? So let's start with. I'm gonna need 4 rolls. So both of you just roll 2d6 twice.
Yeah, at some point, I think Jason or I needs to update our characters because we always end up playing together, and we are the worst team statistically.
That is true. You have some pretty significant weaknesses. Do we want to make some quick changes before we go any further?
I'm down.
All right, so let's look at it. So we've got Ted, mostly contacts and athletics, and I'm pretty sure Lavinia is pretty much the same.
Yeah, we're like almost twins.
Yeah. Like you guys are literally the exact same stats.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a reimagining of my character because I initially had him as really low academics because he's a stupid high schooler, but maybe he's got really good academics now because he's been able to put his high school academic experience to proper use in his first couple of jobs. So now that has raised his academic score.
That makes sense. All right, so you want to move just the 3 from athletics to academics? Just swap those guys.
Yeah, and then maybe move one of them from contact to athletics.
Okay.
And then I was thinking that I would switch technology and contacts on Lavinia because she's been, working on computers and cell phones as a receptionist.
There we go. So you're moving all of it from contacts to technology, or just part of it?
Just gonna switch the 2.
Okay. Cool. I'll let you finish that change out then, because I can see you're editing it. Alrighty. So you guys
So are we
hop.
somewhat more balanced now?
Yeah, that should make things a little easier when it's not just like, oh, this one's academics. Well, we dumb.
Oh no, this one's technology. Well, we're screwed.
Exactly. All right, so you guys hop in the Travato. Let's see what your rolls came as. So we've got. I need one more 2d6 from you, Rebecca. We've got a 7. We've got a 5.
Can I roll, Ryan?
I'm not seeing anything past the first roll. It might just be slow. I'm only seeing your 3 plus 2 ended up as a 5.
Roll the 2d6 twice?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go.
6 and there we go. Now your roll came through. Another 6. Alrighty. Some very average rolls there.
Right?
Alrighty, so you guys are headed out and heading to an amusement park. You get there fairly quickly. It doesn't take you terribly long, and as you pull up outside, There's not too much of a crowd. There's just a few people milling around with masks, trying to avoid getting terribly close to each other. And the amusement park has these bright flashing lights outside the gate that kind of flash in a pattern like fireworks. And you can see the guy at the ticket counter is dressed in red, white, and blue in kind of an exaggerated Uncle Sam outfit. So I would assume you guys.
Oh man, this place is the best. This reminds me of when I got my first kiss 3 years ago. Oh, I'll never forget it. Raven, the girl of my dreams. Let's ride some roller coasters.
So you guys, I would assume, are parking somewhere nearish to the front and then heading up to the ticket taker?
Yes.
Alrighty. So you get there, and it's a very excited-looking kind of teenager, and by excited I mean very not excited. And he kind of just looks at you guys and says, did you order your tickets online, or do you need to buy them here?
We'll be purchasing our tickets here. Party on, brosif.
Alright, it's an extra $5 for purchasing at the gate. If that's
That
okay.
doesn't make much sense. Surely you can slip one past on this one. Right, hombre?
Afraid not. They count the tickets, but if you order on your phone and then just walk back here, you can avoid that, I guess.
Oh man.
Oh
Lavinia,
no,
do you
I
have your
forgot my
phone?
water in the car. We better go get that.
Alrighty, so you step away and pull up their website, I would assume.
Yeah.
Alright. It doesn't take you too long to pull up their website and find the ticket purchase section. Their website is just an absolute marvel of modern technology, from the 60s. And everything is just, these terrible colors of yellow with black highlights, and it's not great. But you're able to navigate it, and you kind of get to their form, and you start filling out the form for entrance, and it starts out fairly normal, the kind of stuff you would expect, the name and phone number and email and all that kind of stuff. But then as you start going along the form, it starts to get progressively more unusual. It starts out kind of normal, asking for stuff like your date of birth and that whatnot, but then it starts asking about, your hair color and your eye color, and it progresses into starting to ask you about your next of kin, and it just keeps getting weirder the further along this form you go.
So I'm just I'm filling out. I have just spaced his name.
Ted?
Ted's. Hang on. So I'm filling out Ted's first, and I'm just kind of reading him the questions. So, to begin with, I can pretty much fill it out. It's fine. And then it comes to his next of kin, so I'm going to be like, alright, so what was your mother's maiden name?
My mother's maiden name. Shouts.
Okay, and then it needs your sister's name at birth.
I don't have a sister.
Okay. Has your Uncle Fred ever been to jail?
Has my uncle ever been to jail? What is this?
I don't know, I'm just reading you the questions, man.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just fill that one out as other.
Yep. So do we eventually reach the end of it, or does it just keep going forever?
Yeah, so as you're getting to the end, the font actually starts to change. And the last few questions are in this drippy red font. And the first question is, are you ready to have fun?
Yes.
Yes.
And then the next question is, forever, question mark?
Wait, what? Forever?
Yes.
Okay, says yes.
All right, and then after you say that, it says, "Well, we welcome you to our our park," in just like this creepy font that slowly kind of fades up over the page, and then you submit it, and it you look at the price, and it actually says $0.
Sweet. I
Nice.
must have hit like a lucky number or something.
Free tickets with the survey.
What?
Yes.
All right, so
I can't believe our luck.
You get something similar for yourself as well, Lavinia. The questions are actually slightly different. Similarly probing, and some of them feel almost as if they're asking questions that would have required foreknowledge about you before you even started filling it out.
I lie my butt off on like all of it, except obviously like what I look like.
Yeah. All right, so then your text, once you finish filling it out, instead of saying "Welcome to the park," it just says "ha ha 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 ha" in this giant laughing font, and then it says "We'll see you soon," and
What?
then
This
and
is weird, Ted.
You're thinking too much. Let's go have some fun.
Alright, but you're buying the cotton candy.
Alrighty. So you guys are getting up back to the ticket taker, and it's actually changed. It's not the same guy as before. It's another person also wearing a the same outfit, this exaggerated Uncle Sam getup. But this time it seems to be a middle-aged blonde female. Um, and so she kind of in this very similar monotone voice says, "Did you order online or will you be purchasing here?"
Oh, we got them online.
All right, please
We got
pull
him
your.
a while ago. We know the trick. And I wink at her.
She doesn't seem to react to your wink at all. She just says, "Very well, please pull them up on your phone so that I can scan them in."
Okay, so I pulled them up.
So she kind of takes what appears to be an empty toilet paper roll, just like the cardboard from the middle of a roll of toilet paper, and just kind of like holds it up to your phone and goes, "Wish, wish, wish. All right, enjoy the park." And she made the wish,
Yeah.
wish, wish sounds, by the way.
Interesting.
Alrighty, so you guys are heading in, I would imagine.
Yes.
So what kind of section of the park are you headed for first? There's a little bit of kind of a water park area, and then there's a section with kind of the uh, the smaller rides, so like carousels and the egg beaters and teacups and that sort of more contained rides. There's an area kind of further up the hill that has all of the big roller coasters. There's of course all the concession stands. And there's another section that has all the different carnival games going on.
Okay, so let's warm up with a couple of games, and then we'll get to the big rides, and then When the crowds start getting to the big rides, we'll go back to the games.
Alright, works for me.
Alright, so as you guys are headed toward the games, you kind of notice this odd smell that seems to be coming from somewhere around you. You're not sure where, though. I don't know if there's anything that you have that would help you figure out where it would be. Let's say athletics, because it's smell related, so that's your nose. Out of the 4, that's like the only thing that seems applicable. So, who wants to roll in athletics?
I guess I should, because I have a 3.
Alright.
I don't know what my stats are now.
Works.
What was that, Jason?
Oh, never mind. I found them.
Okay, cool.
So I rolled 3 d20s, right?
3d6s, but close.
Yeah.
Alright, so the highest out of those was a 4, meaning that you get to describe a mostly positive result of your action, but you must include a negative or humorous effect.
I guess. I don't even know what I'm looking for, so...
An odd smell. There's an odd smell coming from somewhere.
So I look around, and I'm able to locate the odd smell, but in the process, I see some guy peeing on the hedges.
Sure. I guess that's close enough.
I don't know. Remind me.
So you're kind of sniffing around, trying to figure out where this weird smell is coming from. And as you are doing that, you kind of get a little bit closer to one of the manhole covers that you've seen kind of dotted around the area, and it seems to be coming from down in there. And so you are kind of curious what it is, and you pull out, your phone and kind of turn on the flashlight to maybe see through the hole in the top, because there's the hole that they hook the tool in to kind of pull those out. So there's usually a little kind of keyhole looking thing on the top of manhole covers. And you try to look in there, but as you do, suddenly this green slime kind of like splooshes up through the hole and just splashes all over your phone.
Ew.
And it is not pleasant smelling.
Gross.
Are you okay? Did you throw up?
I did not throw up. This stuff came out of the manhole cover.
Out of the ground.
Yeah, it's gross.
Oh man, I was trying to avoid the job. I hope the job didn't find us.
Bye!
There we go. That's the title of this episode. The job found us. Alright. So what are you going to do now? Are you going to continue your way toward the games, or are you going to investigate further?
I think I'm going to go to the restroom and try to carefully wash this disgusting stuff off my phone.
Alright. So you're heading toward the restroom, and you're actually having trouble finding the women's restroom. You found where the restrooms should be, and you found the door for the men's restroom. But the door for the women's restroom just seems to be missing.
I'm gonna go in men's restroom and wash my phone.
All right, you head in there. And shortly inside, you actually hear kind of this worried muttering coming from an open stall. The door is open, but you can hear that someone is in there. And they're just like, it happened again. I don't know what to. It smells so bad.
Yeah.
So you head to one of the. Are you headed to one of the sinks to wash it, or what are you up to?
I was gonna go to one of the sinks, well, or like the paper towels.
Okay. So yeah, as you pass the stall, you hear the muttering kind of stop, and you're, I would assume, kind of trying to ignore whoever's in there for worry of what exactly it is that stinks so bad. Um, but as you go up to the paper towel dispenser and start getting them out, you hear kind of a gruff voice behind you, and he says, "You're from that show, aren't you?"
There's a lot of shows. I may be, I might not be. Depends on what show you're talking about.
It's this show with a bad acronym. Something about fighting ghosts in space or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You want to tell me what's going on? I am assuming.
So when you turned around, you see a rather disheveled-looking middle-aged man with a 5 o'clock shadow, and he's actually wearing a hard hat and seems to be in construction getup. And so he's like, "Yeah, well, you see, me and my crew were hired. There was a problem with one of the roller coasters, and they needed us to redo the base, and so we were doing some construction there, and we're digging out the base to repour the concrete when well, we hit something, and I wasn't there when it happened. I only heard about it later, but it was after that day that the weird smells started happening, and like colors showing up places they shouldn't be, and doors disappearing. It's strange. I'm really worried. I think something supernatural must be happening."
Sounds like tons of fun. I guess we'll go investigate that.
So he pulls a ham sandwich out of his pocket and kind of like mops his brow with it, and then sticks it back in and says, "I really appreciate that. A few of my buddies have actually disappeared. I've been afraid to go back to the dig site."
Can you, guess, point me in the direction?
Yeah, it's the real big roller coaster all the way at the top of the hill. It's called the the the, the devil's armpit or something like that.
Okay then. Thank you.
And so he's like, "All right, I'll be in here. It seems to be safe in the men's bathroom for whatever reason. Normally that's where the odd smells come from, but this time it's actually seems to be safe from it for whatever reason." And he pulls the ham sandwich out of his pocket and mops his sweaty brow with it again before retreating to his stall.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back outside and find Ted.
All right, Ted, what were you up to while Lavinia was in the bathroom?
I was staring intently at the manhole cover the whole time.
All right. So, as you stare at the manhole cover, it seems perfectly normal at first, and then after a minute, you start to think maybe there's this strange glow around the manhole. And then you give it another minute, and then you almost imagine that maybe there's like this green sludge of some sort starting to well up around the edges. but when you rub your eyes, it's gone again. And you're just starting to feel like it must have been your imagination, when suddenly there's this loud, high-pitched whooping noise, and the manhole cover actually just rockets out from its place directly toward your face. Let's get an athletics.
Oh no, he just changed his athletics.
I did. Okay, so I got a 4.
All right. So describe a mostly positive result of your action, but you must include a negative or humorous effect.
Okay, so I see the manhole cover coming right at my face, and so my immediate instinct is to lean back and bend only at the knees, but my shoulders somehow levitate off of the ground, and the manhole cover passes directly above me. But then, as it's going into slow-mo, suddenly I lose my balance and fall directly on my ass into a big puddle of soda. But I dodged the manhole cover.
So yeah, and as your soda is slowly soaking into your underwear, you hear this gurgling, hissing, laughing noise coming from below ground. Just so let's actually get a one die stress roll. Three. All right. So you are now stressed. You're gonna lose one die from an appropriate skill. So what do you think? How has this affected you? Which skill is gonna drop?
Well, I just failed at a super badass stunt, and now I'm sitting in a pool of stale soda. So I think I took a hit to my athletics due to my confidence and chafage from wet underwear.
That makes sense. All right, so that'll bring your current athletics down to one die. And this is, of course, right when Lavinia comes out, is just after you've fallen down and you're currently still working to get yourself up from your literally sticky situation.
And what are you doing? Did you pee yourself?
I wish. That sludge monster tried to kill me.
So you are sure it's a sludge monster and not just,
You
puke
gotta
coming out
believe
of the
me.
drain?
I didn't
Alright,
take
kid,
my
alright,
eyes
I
off
believe
of the manhole cover, and then it was glowing, and then it wasn't glowing, and then all of a sudden it just shot out at me. It was the sludge monster, I'm telling you.
Alright, I believe you. And I think you should know that I just met a crazy man in the bathroom who knows who we are and says we have to go check stuff out on the big roller coaster on the top of the hill because they woke something up or something when they were digging, and I don't know.
Okay, well, at least let me go buy a bathing suit or something to change into.
Well, let's head that way because I think we've got to go all the way through the park. So I'm guessing we'll go through some gift shops on the way.
Perfect.
Alrighty. So you do indeed, as is typical, you're still pretty near the front entrance, and that's where most of the gift shops are. So you don't have too far to go before you're able to find one. And since they do have a water park section, they have all kinds of swimwear and water wings and squirt guns and that sort of thing. If you are interested in making a purchase.
Oh, dude, that bathing suit says "Ride Me" on the butt with a picture of a roller coaster.
That is not an appropriate swimsuit, Ted. I just think you should know that's not appropriate.
I need it.
Are you guys gonna want to pick up any other stuff while you're here other than just a swimsuit?
Goggles and snorkels and like all the hand sanitizer we can find.
All right. Sounds good. Why don't we get a tech roll from whoever's doing the purchasing? See if you see what kind of quality items you're able to get a hold
Lavinia has all the merchandise. I literally just want the bathing suit.
of. That's fair. Alrighty, that's a little better. We got a 5. So you guys actually gain yourselves a franchise die, and yeah, you're able to get some good stuff, including you actually are able to buy their last few bottles of hand sanitizer. They were almost out. Speaking of which, are you guys wearing masks?
Yes.
I didn't even know anything was going on. I'm just oblivious.
Well, but see, I gave you a really nifty looking mask, you know, one of the ones that also turns into a headband and like a scarf and everything. So I kind of tricked you into wearing it.
You're just like, hey, everyone else is dressing up as bandits. We should too.
I mean, basically.
That's true. I'm a sucker for peer pressure.
All right, so you are able to purchase those things, and pretty quickly you're on your way. It does take Ted a minute to kind of try on a few different sizes of swimsuits and pick the one that he likes best. In that time, Lavinia, do you want to roll another tech roll, see if you can find out any useful information on your phone? And then, Ted, why don't you give me a contacts roll, see if maybe you overhear anything. Alright,
Do you
so...
want me to re-roll that since I did a typo and put 5 instead of 4, or just take what's there?
Sure, go ahead and re-roll it. You roll all ones.
I mean, that sounds like my luck.
You almost did! Alright, so
Same
Lavinia,
result.
you're able to gather another die. You tell me, what were you able to find out on your cyber sleuthing?
That this seems to have been like a perfectly normal amusement park up until just a few days ago, and then all of a sudden there's just all of the reviews of the park are exactly the same. 5 stars, totally would go again. Bring the family. Over and over and over again. And I don't know.
Alright, no, that's good. And then what about Ted? You actually got a 6, so you're going to gain 2 franchise dice. And while you're in the changing room, you overhear a couple of people talking in a hoarse whisper in the changing room right next to you, but they're only separated by the thinnest possible plywood, so you're able to make out exactly what they're saying.
So I get to make up this conversation that I'm overhearing?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do I hear in the changing room? So it's a man and a woman, and they're like, the woman is crying a little bit, and the man's trying to settle her down, but like, kind of like very urgently. He's like, they can't see you like this. Get yourself together. And she's like, but I haven't seen Timmy in weeks, months. Where's my Timmy? And he says, I know that it's been a while, but get yourself together or they'll come for us, and then you'll never see me again either. And that's all I got.
Nice. I like it. Alrighty. So you head out and you're able to purchase all that stuff and kind of get back outside the store again. Where are you headed next?
Up the hill, I guess.
Alright. So you get started up the hill. You make it kind of past the kiddie rides, and you're not too close to the water park. That's kind of off to the west of where you are, and you're headed north up the hill.
Oh, are the big swings nearby? I love the big swings.
Sure, yeah. So there's the great big swings are kind of over nearby, and you can see there's not much of a line. There's this one kid who seems to be swinging on them, but there's plenty of open spaces.
Lavinia, let's go to the swings. That's my favorite.
Alright, fine.
Just a quick pit stop. It'll be fun, I promise.
What do you say, Ted? You're the one who said this amusement park would be fun to start with.
I grab her wrist and I pull her over and run to get in line.
All right. You get there, and there's actually no line. They are able to just let you in immediately.
Nice. So, no line. I run and
out.
I pick the swing on the outermost spot as far away so that it kind of gets like on the outside. You know what I mean? You get the most height.
All right. So you're able to get on, and Lavinia gets on, and the one kid who seems to have been riding, rather than getting off, he kind of just switches seats actually to one that's just right next to you guys. And the ride starts off, and you guys are lifted out off of the ground and start spinning. I would assume, is this one of those round ones with like the swings on like a circle and it spins?
Yeah, and then it rises up like into the air.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just wanted to make sure we were picturing the same thing. It rises out into the air and starts spinning. You can feel the exhilarating rush of the wind blowing past your face. And then looking over, you are looking at the park, and just this view expands out. You're a little ways up the hill. The whole park is kind of built on this hill, so the further north you go, the higher you end up. And you can kind of see out down quite a ways, and the park is far enough out of town that what you're seeing is mostly the rolling hills and forested vales of the area. It's quite beautiful. But then as you've been in the air for a couple of minutes, you start hearing this kind of almost manic laughter coming from the kid who is next to you. And he's like, and you look over. He has just this, cartoonishly large smile on his face. You also notice that his eyes are like this weird, almost luminescent green color. And when he notices you looking over, he says, "Isn't this park fun, mister? I just want to stay here forever." And you look, and he's got a name tag, and it says, "Hi, my name is Timmy."
I start shrieking. I'm like, get me off this ride.
All right, and that actually, from both of you, let's go ahead. Well, not yet. Here in a minute. So you already are shrieking. As that happens, you realize that the ride, it started out at a fairly standard pace, but it's been progressively getting faster and faster and faster, and it's gotten to the point that you can almost feel yourself being sucked into the bottom of your seat by just the centripetal force. And you're starting to get a little bit nauseous, and you can hear the ride just vibrating and rattling almost dangerously, to the point that you're afraid it might come apart at any moment. and it doesn't seem to show any signs of slowing or stopping. It just continues to speed up faster and faster, and the kid is just laughing louder and louder, and Ted is screaming. And now both of you give me a 2-die roll stress check. Right, we got a 4 and a 5. All right, so despite screaming, Ted is actually not too terribly freaked out. It's actually just a -1 penalty on your next skill roll. And Rebecca, oh no, wait, I forgot. It's the lower of the two on stress checks. So you both got 3s. So you guys are both going to lose 1 die.
No. So that's another die on top of the stress that I was already under, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I lost a contact die.
All right, so you're just freaked out. You're having trouble, like, speaking as charismatically as you normally would, just from the stress that's going on. What about you, Rebecca? What are you taking the die out of?
I think I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of athletics.
Okay. So maybe as it's shaking and rattling, you start trying to kind of move around to try and figure out what's going on, and you manage to sprain your wrist. So, what are you doing? What are you going to do now that your ride is spinning dangerously fast? You seem to be trapped. You're almost at a completely lateral angle. You've barely any downward angle at all.
I'm going to throw up.
Wait, I missed it. What are we doing?
I asked what you were going to do. You're kind of stuck up on this ride as it spins dangerously quick.
But what did Rebecca say?
Oh, she threw up.
Oh. I shout to Timmy, I saw your parents, Timmy. They miss you.
He says, good. They should join me. It's great here. Isn't this fun, mister? Isn't this fun?
I'm having so much fun. Too much fun. Can you stop the ride, Timmy?
And Timmy just laughs at you with that.
Oh man, what do we do?
Looking around, you can see down the ride operator is kind of this large man. He seems to be also wearing the same exaggerated Uncle Sam outfit, but then he has his face painted like a clown. This giant smiling red lips painted across his face.
I pull off my shoe and I try and chuck it at the control console.
All right, let's get an athletics. And remember, if you want to boost that die, you can spend out of your gym card.
Yeah, I think we better spend out of the gym card just to be safe.
Okay, can I do that retroactively?
Yeah.
Because I already rolled, and it was bad.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say you did that. Go ahead and roll 2d6s.
Still bad.
But it could be worse, so not great. So, I get to decide your fate, but you will get to suggest a single positive, albeit minor effect. Um, you hawk the shoe at it at the control panel, and your aim is surprisingly good. It does indeed smash into the control panel, but it seems to just hit the lever into an even faster position, and the entire ride begins just spinning uncontrollably fast. It starts shaking and vibrating violently, and then your swings actually finally do detach as you were afraid they would, and you're sent soaring off in the direction of the water park. And
I
then,
request that we land in the pool.
all right.
We should land on the bouncy house that's in the middle of the pool.
There we go. So there's as you're flying over, you see that indeed there's this very large wave pool sitting kind of in the center of the water park area. And floating on the center is an enormous, oversized bounce house that's just floating atop the water and riding out the various waves that are pushed out by the wave pool. And you do, in fact, slam into one of the towers of the bounce house, which gives way underneath you and slides you down with surprising ease as you fall down onto the bounce house itself, only in time for a wave to come by and send you flying out of the bounce house and into the pool itself. And so the both of you come to the surface, spluttering and breathing heavy.
Are we still strapped into our chairs at this point, or have we wiggled free?
You guys came loose of your chairs when they went flying. The seatbelts.
Oh, okay, cool.
The seatbelts were completely non-existent, which seems like a major oversight. But you, in fact, were just kind of loosely sitting there, and so once you went free, you just flew loose, kind of naturally.
Dude. All terror aside, that was the best ride ever.
Just want you to know, Ted, that this is all your fault. You did this to me.
You're just a pessimist. Look on the bright side. We're at an amusement park.
Bright side is, you basically sold your soul to this amusement park. And remember, you said you were willing to be here forever.
Oh my goodness. Maybe they really meant forever.
Think? Maybe.
So when you say that, you actually see Timmy, and he's now wearing water wings, and he kind of backstrokes past you. You should join us here, Ted. It's great. It's fun. We all float down here, Ted. We all float down here. And he floats off past you.
Timmy! Get back here!
You gonna try to catch him?
Yes.
Alright, let's get another athletics check.
Okay, I'm using another gym die.
Alright.
No!
Alright, so it's another 3. So you try to swim after him. He seems to have gone kind of around the bounce house. But as you round the corner, you just see nothing there. The entire wave pool is actually somehow empty. But you notice underneath the bounce house, there seems to be this glowing green light starting to spread out.
Lavinia, come over here. Check this out. That's
Nope,
that
I'm
same.
getting out of the water, Ted. Out of the water, Ted.
I climb out of the water, and I'm like, that's the same glow. That's the glow I was talking about. It's the sludge monster. He's coming for us. Let's run.
So the glow does indeed increase, and it spreads across the entire pool. Where are you running toward?
We're running up the hill.
All right. So you're running up the hill, and as you are kind of getting away from the pool, you can see that the entire wave pool has turned into this thick, goopy green substance, and a wave is pushed out. You think at first it's just the normal functioning of the wave pool, but the wave starts to grow and grow until it crests completely over the pool, and you see the entire contents of the pool actually separate itself and start to wash out over the top of the pool and start rolling after you. And so you run as hard as you can up the hill, and you round a corner, slamming one of the gates behind you. Um, and you keep running, and being uphill, you're very quickly winded, and soon you find yourself just exhausted despite not having gone very far. But when you look behind you, it's calm and peaceful, and the normal light of day seems to have returned. The green glow is nowhere to be seen.
Where to go? This is strange. I don't know. Maybe we imagined it. Let's go investigate. Where'd you say this guy wanted us to go?
Okay, first of all, yes, I agree we should go to the top of the hill and check out the roller coaster, but I do not think we imagined that. So keep that in mind.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye out for any more glowiness.
All right. So you guys resume your climb up the hill, and as you're going, you see that there really aren't a whole lot of people out and about. And what few people you do see, they seem to be kind of just standing in odd places. They're not usually riding rides. There's a few people who are running them, but a lot of the normal patrons, they just seem to be standing in corners or along walls. Not doing much, kind of just looking down at the ground. Those few people who you see on rides, they seem to be just having an absolute time of their lives. You hear raucous laughter and joyous screams coming from the different rides. And in particular, you hear as you pass a haunted house. This one seems to actually be a relative hotbed of activity. There's a long line to get in, and you can see from the various windows and even coming up from these basement doors. There are these bright green beams of light coming out from the house, and you can hear the screams and laughter and movement of various patrons inside the haunted house itself. Do you stop there, or are you going to continue up the hill?
No more pit stops.
All right.
I'm trying.
All right.
Despite me trying to be optimistic, I'm trying to get out of there too.
That makes sense. All right, so you continue your way up the hill, and you start getting into the roller coasters themselves. And as you do, you start to see that the roller coasters are actually in rather bad repair. Many of them are shifted off of their proper bases. Some of them seem misaligned. You actually see one of them, there's a group of people riding on one of the coasters only to find a gap in the track and go hurtling off into space, crashing into the ground, still laughing and, just having the time of their lives, despite when you kind of pass them, you can see that they've crashed into the ground and have broken their bones in multiple places and should be writhing in agony. But you continue on your way, increasingly worried about what could be going on in this park. And you see up at the top of the hill, the very biggest roller coaster, an enormous black monolith of a thing. It's claim to fame is that it has one of the longest vertical drops of any roller coaster ever built. The thing is mostly flat, but it has an enormous lead up as it goes almost straight up for hundreds and hundreds of feet before having a short plateau along the top and then immediately dropping that entire distance and further down the other side, taking advantage of the steepness of the hill to drop you at blinding speeds. The entire thing seems to actually be rather phallic in retrospect. In design, and in fact, as you see the signs for its location, you realize that the name is not the Devil's Armpit as the construction worker seems to have remembered, but instead it is named the Devil's Ding Dong.
Oh no!
So going up,
and the slogan is "Ride Me." That must be the roller coaster that I got the bathing suit for.
It is. It 100% is. The other, so it says. So on the back of the, on the front of your swimsuit, it says. No. On the back of your swimsuit, it says "Ride Me." On the front, it says "Sit on this." And that's the slogan for the. And now we have the actual episode title, "The Devil's Ding Dong." But anyway, so so you guys are going up there, and you see that the construction worker was in fact telling the truth. You can see that the entire foundation seems to have been torn up in multiple places. There are these huge pits of dirt, which are just inordinately large given the actual diameter of the holes. As you go up to one of the holes, you actually see that it plunges deep into the hill, way further than is at all reasonable for simply digging out and pouring the foundation. And as you kind of walk up to one and peer down into the inky blackness, you hear this awful gurgling voice that just says, "To be continued." Bum bum bum. Alrighty, well, that is it for today. And we will pick this up next time we play InSpectres.
Oh man, and we only got 4 dice. We did so bad.
Well, honestly, the biggest problem is that normally you're supposed to have an inspection phase before you actually start the job, or not like a prep phase before you do the job phase. And that would have given you a chance to roll a bunch of dice, but because you kind of just were like, let's go somewhere, the inspection phase has been kind of awkwardly spread out. And so that was the rolls that you were able to do for, like overhearing the people talking and the cell phone inspection. So really, you're not that far into the job proper.
That makes sense.
So, unfortunately, you also have taken some stress damage, so that'll be a thing down the road. But, let's see. What has Lavinia learned?
Never, ever to trust Ted.
So that's probably a good lesson.
That's a great lesson.
What about Ted? What has he learned?
Ted learned that not everything is as good as the nostalgia glasses make you think it is.
Fair enough. Alrighty, well, thank you guys for joining me today. I hope everyone had fun, and I will see you